Hey, good evening, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am going to share with you money management tips to help you improve your finances. So, if this is your first time joining me, my name is Alex. I share with you tools, tips, and strategies to help you get over your fear, anxiety, and doubts about money so you can live your best life and leave a legacy for your family. So if this is your first time joining me, guys, please put your name in the comment box, like and share so some other people can get this wonderful information as well. So as always, I like to go ahead and get started. And tonight, I'm talking about money management tips to improve your finances. So many of you might know I'm right in the middle of a create your financial plan challenge, and now I'm kind of in the challenge phase where I'm talking about saving and money management. Okay, and if you haven't seen any of the other videos, please I encourage you to take a look at those videos. And explains a little bit more of why I'm doing this financial plan challenge. So, many of us know the finances, personal finances, is obviously something that's not taught in schools and it's not taught in college, believe it or not. And we know because people wind up having to learn money management knowledge and become literate, they usually wind up doing it over their lifetime. We learn from other people, from those around us. And unfortunately, it's almost like the blind leading the blind. If you did not grow up around people who had um, wealth or had great money management skills, chances are you learned habits from them that did not lead to building wealth. So, and so as a result, we know that 68% of people um, don't have $1,000 saved, right? We also know that most people rely on Social Security as their safety net in retirement, and and now we know the retirement age is right now 67. Chances are it's going to be 70 or 71 here pretty soon. Um, but I'm saying that to say that as a whole, Americans, we haven't done a very good job of learning about how money works, and we haven't done a great job of making it work for us. So that's the reason why I'm sharing this information with you, because I want to see other people be able to build wealth. I want to see people live a full life and be able to leave a legacy for their family. I was able to retire, my wife and I, in 2018. My wife retired in 2017. And so I want to be able to share these tips. And let me get right into it. So the first money management tip in order to improve your finances is, number one, you must track your finances. You must track your finances. That is the very first thing. You need to understand exactly how much money you have coming in, where it's coming from. Okay, you need to know exactly how much money is coming in. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. Um, so you need to know how much money is coming in. And then obviously the next thing you need to know is you need to know how much money is going out. Where is it going? How much is going to each category, right? You need to understand how much money is being spent on a need, how much is being spent on a want, and how much is then spent in other categories, miscellaneous or what have you. And when you start to go in, even in those need, wants, and miscellaneous categories, you want to start breaking out and understanding and breaking those expenses out to household. Um, yeah, Lisa says that it's hard to know how much you'll be making weekly. It's never the same amount. And Many of you guys know that I was in the beauty industry as well. And one of the things, Lisa, that one of the strategies, there are a couple I'm going to share with you. One of the strategies that I used to share with people when I was coaching beauty professionals is just like everyone else, all these other companies are putting us on some type of subscription basis, Netflix, cable, utility bills to some degree. We have to try to figure out within our own business, how can we start setting up some type of subscription plan, or get our customers and clients to the place where they know and understand how much they're going to be spending with us every single month. And if we can help um, hey Sherry, how you doing? If we can start trying to systematize our business that way, then we can start to smooth out these ups and downs when it comes to our cash flow, right? And so we have to start thinking very much like other companies and other businesses do. How can we start to normalize and kind of average out our income? That's number one. Number two, we need to make sure that we have other streams of income that come in as well. If we only have one stream of income, our financial future is in jeopardy. Hey Tamika, how you doing? And so having additional streams of income helps us to get to a place where we can start to kind of know a little bit more with more certainty what's coming in. Okay. So we literally must start thinking, how can I make sure that I have multiple streams of income coming in? How can I make sure that those streams of income are passive? And how can I make them such that they come in every single month? Right? We need to start thinking in that fashion. So, in any case, so those are just some ideas and some suggestions as to how do you begin to normalize how much money you're earning from month to month when you are self-employed. Okay, so that's one thing. So we need to track exactly what's coming in, and you need to know exactly what's going out. And if you don't know what's coming in and what's going out on a monthly basis, then it puts you in a position where, quite honestly, you're not able to accurately forecast how you're going to reach your financial goals going forward. If you can't forecast how much you're coming in, and you can't in some way project how much is going out, then it's going to be really difficult for you to understand how much money can I allocate to my financial goals. For instance, how much money can I allocate to debt reduction? Well, if I don't have any basis for figuring out how much I have coming in and how much I have going out, it's going to be difficult for me to figure out how can I reach my financial goal of getting out of debt, if that's one of your goals. How can I get to a place of contributing every single month a certain amount of money to my retirement or to savings or what have you? You have to start thinking that I cannot flow with the up and down. I have to figure out how can I begin to normalize my income and how can I begin to normalize my outflows. So now I can start understanding how am I going to prioritize my dollars, the dollars that I have coming in. How can I start prioritizing and spending them in such a way that I'm able to reach my financial goals? Okay. And the first step to doing that is tracking your expenses and tracking your income, understanding where it's going. The next thing that you can start doing now is you can start budgeting. That's the second step, budgeting. Now that you know what's coming in, now that you know historically what's been going out, now you can begin to say, all right, what are my financial goals? What are the things that I'm looking to accomplish? How much is it actually going to cost for me to live and have the lifestyle that I truly want for myself, for my family, Some of us might even be supporting a parent or two. So understanding what's coming in can now allow you to what? Develop a spending plan. People say budgets don't work. I honestly believe that not to be true, and it's probably because we have a very limited perspective of what a budget is designed to do. I really like to call it a spending plan. And the idea behind a spending plan is you have a set of goals that you lay out that are important to you. Number one, once you have your goals and your financial priorities in place, now you can start to evaluate what are the values associated with these goals that I want to accomplish. For instance, if you say I want to earn a certain dollar amount, okay, you might have a value that says, but I want to make sure that I earn this much, but I want to make sure that I have enough time for family. I want to make sure I have enough time for my personal priorities, whether that be my physical health, my spiritual and mental health. That you're earning money and the way that you do it and the values associated with that lines up with how you want to live your life as well. When you have your goals and you have your values, now you can start allocating your dollars and your spending associated with your values and your priorities. These things have to line up. And when they don't, is when life gets to be really bumpy, right? Maybe there are times when you're making good money, but now you burn out. You're not as healthy. You're not as close to your family members, or things start to go awry within your family. Those things have to be in balance, okay? So, and the way that you do that is you create a spending plan. And your spending plan allows you to determine what your priorities are and your values, and then you can start to align your spending associated with those things. And when you do that, you will find that you will typically have more alignment, more harmony, and you have more peace in your finances. So that's number two. The third thing that you want to do, the third money management tip to improve your finances is you want to automate your finances. You want to automate particularly you want to automate your savings. Okay. A lot of times people will say, Alex, I don't have a lot of money left over at the end of the month. Or people will say, I don't have a lot of discipline or willpower. So as a result, I don't have anything saved at the end of the month. My suggestion to you is don't wait till the end of the month. Pay yourself first. Move you to the head of the line. Make sure that you are saving money and you're putting yourself first. If you do that, now that means that you have to what? Shift and shape some of the other things in your life. Those things have to fit into what's left because you have made yourself a priority. You have made your future. You've made your future goals, your future aspirations, your dreams, your ideas, your freedom fund. You gotta fund that freedom fund, or else you're gonna be in bondage your entire life. And the only way that you do that is you cannot do it with what's left over. You have to move yourself in the front of the line and pay yourself first. And when you do that and you pay yourself first, number four, and you automate the process, now you don't have to rely on what? Discipline. You don't have to rely on willpower. You don't have to wonder if you're not going to have enough, if you're going to have anything left over at the end of the month. You've already baked it into the process. And that's how we have to do it. Why? Because if you have laid out your priorities, and if you are a priority, then you have to move yourself at the front of the line. Everything else has to be adjusted. Everything else has to be shifted because your priorities are are getting better in line. So, hey, thank you, Brandon. I greatly appreciate that. And yes, it really is all about our relationships with money. And many times, the relationships that we have with money is toxic. And it's toxic because, quite honestly, no one has really shown us, right? Most of us, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I didn't learn from people who were super wealthy or had great money management skills, right? And because of the environment that I grew up in, the neighborhood that I grew up in, chances are I, everyone around me had similar money habits. Because if they had different money habits, chances are they wouldn't live in the neighborhood, right? They'll live somewhere else. And so birds of a feather tend to flock together. Like-minded people tend to attract like-minded people. And so we wind up learning habits from each other. And those habits, when we practice them, they get reinforced because those other people around us say, yeah, man, hey, yeah. I see you. I see what you're doing. I see. They begin to reinforce the things that we think we should be doing with money. So relationships with money is very, very important. So, so number one, we should be tracking. Number two, we should be budgeting or developing a spending plan according to your priorities and your values. Number three, you got to move yourself in the front of the line. You got to start paying yourself first and not last. You can't take the crumbs that are left over. There's a very good book called The Richest Man in Babylon. And that's the essence of the Richest Man in Babylon book. It talks about the importance of always making sure that you're holding something back for yourself in order that you might be able to build wealth for yourself and for your family. I always say to people, your money is going to do one of two things. It's either going to make you wealthy or it's going to make somebody else wealthy. It's your choice. So number five. Now this one is something that a lot of people won't like, but I'm going to say it anyway. What's going on, Dre the Barber? Thanks for joining. One of the things, guys, that we simply must start doing is we must start saving for big purchases. Saving for big purchases. The reason why, oftentimes, if we're buying things that are going to put more money in our pockets, if we're buying things that's going to put more income in our pockets or build up our net worth, then honestly, I would say by all means, taking on debt, not a bad way to go. It allows you to put down a little bit of money. It allows you to control assets if those assets are able to put income in your pocket or is able to increase your net worth. Not a bad idea. But many times when we go into debt, we're often going into debt because we're buying consumer items, we're buying, going on vacation, and the biggest one of all is we're purchasing cars. And in each one of those categories that I just mentioned, unless it's a classic, cars are depreciating assets. And every single time, people, when I coach couples and individuals who with their finances, one of the things I always look at is how much money are you spending on a vehicle? How much money are you spending on a vehicle? And the first thing I'm going to look at is, are you at least saving that much for yourself? And oftentimes it isn't. So Mercedes-Benz, Mr. Mercedes and his family is continuing to get wealthy off our money. Mr. Range Rover is continuing to get wealthy off our money. And we have to begin to reverse that. So if you have some big items that are coming up, some big purchases, save for those things, because at least at that point you won't have not only the cost of the item, but you won't have the interest on top of it as well. And that's oftentimes what kills us. There are a couple of items that are wealth killers. Number one, taxes. How you earn your income has determines a lot about how much taxes you're going to pay. Number two, inflation. And we know inflation right now is particularly high. If you have $100 today, and if inflation continues the way that it is, that $100 will be worth $94 if you don't do something with it next year. Inflation is a silent killer. The third one, debt and interest. Those things are also killing our ability to build wealth. And it's often because we are buying items and we're going into debt to purchase things and to have things that don't build wealth for us. Huge mistake. We have to change it. So that's number 5. And then number 6, when you are saving money, when you are starting to figure out what's an unnecessary expense, when you begin to pay yourself first, when you begin to set aside even small amounts of money, now you're able to have something that you can start what? Investing. Something that you can start to make grow for you. And honestly, guys, it's an absolute must because you cannot save your way to wealth. It's not possible. It's not possible because we know banks and other places, they're not paying money. They're not giving you anything in terms of interest. And like I said before, inflation is eating us alive. Okay? So we have to start investing. We have to start looking for places we can start to put and invest our money so we can get a return. And we want to do it in a smart way. How do we know what works for us and what's smart? Number one, we have to stop thinking about investing as flipping money. You can't think about investing as gambling. It is not. It should not be. It should not be gambling. You want to start looking at, again, what are my financial goals? What are my financial priorities? That's number one. Number two, you have to start looking at what's your time horizon. How long will it be? How much time do you have before you need to meet some financial goal in the future? You want to make sure that your investment options, the choices that you make, begin to line up with that. What are some other things? You want to look at how much you need to pay in taxes associated with particular investment. What's your risk tolerance and your tolerance of risk? Those things are also very important. And you want to make sure that you understand what you're putting your money in. So there are a number of things that you really want to think about when you're thinking about investing. Okay. But I say this as well. Investing doesn't have to be something that's difficult. It doesn't have to be something that is all convoluted and all drawn out. And you're always looking to figure out how can you get the biggest return with the least amount of risk. This is not gambling. This is not trying to flip money and trying to double your money in 3 weeks and 4. You're gonna lose your money. A fool and his money shall soon part. When you start looking for things like that and thinking they're wise investments. So these are things, guys, that's all a part of what I've been doing, the financial plan challenge. I have a masterclass that's coming up this coming Saturday. If you do not have a financial plan right now that's written, that's proven to help you generate more income, save more money, invest more, and protect your assets. If you do not have a plan, guys, I encourage you to sign up for the masterclass that's coming up this coming weekend. Okay, alexbjones.com/plan. The only way you can get to be successful, the only way that you're going to be able to build the type of wealth that you truly, truly want is you have to have a plan for it. The only thing that separates someone who's been able to amass some type of wealth and those of us who have not, the only difference is They have a plan. They have a plan. And it needs to have 4 key areas. You need to know how to earn money efficiently and effectively. You need to know how to save and manage your money, right? Getting rid of as many of those silent wealth killers as possible. Number 3, you need to make sure that you're investing your savings to get the maximum return with the least amount of risk that meets your financial goals. And then finally, you want to make sure that you're protecting your assets. Protecting your assets from what? Just what I talked about. Protecting them from taxes, protecting them from inflation and interest. But you also want to make sure you're protecting them from lawsuits, foreclosures, and bankruptcies. You want to make sure that you're protecting them from government. I just went to a foreclosure auction earlier this week, and it was a foreclosure auction for one of the houses was being foreclosed on, but it was being foreclosed on the estate, which means that the owner passed away. Okay, and so now the bank is foreclosing on this property because either there was someone who inherited the property, who was supposed to inherit the property but no longer wanted it, or what have you. But many times people don't understand that your hard-earned assets have to be protected in a smart way so they can pass on to the people that you really and truly want to have those assets. But you want to make sure that you pass them on in a way that is smart, that they don't wind up having to pay excessive taxes, or puts them in a place where they can't really accept it. They have to pay so much to upkeep the assets, and now they have to sell it. So it's about having your documents in a row and having your finances together so your assets are protected. Okay, beyond while you're living and beyond. Okay, so Alex B. Jones, let me see if I can put that in the comments for you guys. I sincerely hope to see you in the masterclass. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, because this is what it's all about. I want to make sure that all of us get the information we need in order for us to have the life that we truly want and we truly deserve. They're not passing on this type of information. They're not teaching these things, and there's a reason why they're not teaching them. They're not teaching them because they don't want you to know. Schools and colleges are only set up for you to be more productive workers. So once you get out of college, once you get out of school, they want you to get a job so they can tax the hell out of you. In addition to that, if you have student loans, they want to make sure that you're able to pay back those student loans. That's the reason why student loans aren't dischargeable. It's a racket, guys. And so we have to learn the wealth building strategies and the wealth principles of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Those things aren't just for the rich and wealthy. Sure, some of them are, but there are ways that you can reduce the amount of taxes that you pay, right? Even today, one of the things I was going to share was how many people know about the Savers tax credit? Put in the comment box if you heard about the Savers tax credit. Let me know if you've heard that. And so, just to give you an example, many times we don't know what opportunities are out there because we don't know what we don't know. And when you don't have the information that you need, you don't know it. So the Savers tax credit is actually, if you are single and you make $33,000 or less, okay, you can actually, if you invest, contribute money to a 401k, an IRA, a SEP plan, or 403b, or a TSP account, up to if you put in $2,000, the government will actually give you $1,000 credit on your taxes. Not a deduction, but $1,000 credit on your taxes, dollar for dollar. Okay, so that means if you put in 2,000, you're gonna get 1,000 from the government in tax savings. So that means really you got $3,000. Okay, um, so that's an example. If you're a married couple, that means if you make less than $66,000 as a married couple, if you invest $4,000 in one of an IRA or 401k or 403b or one of those tax qualified plans, if you invest $4,000, you can get up to $2,000, right, in a tax credit. And that's just one example of monies that's available and that's out there to help you start saving and growing and help you start to invest. But because we're not having these conversations, because we're not talking about money, because we're not availing ourselves to information, oftentimes these sort of things fall by the wayside, and we never learn about them when we never find out about them. So we want to change that. alexbjones.com/plan. Go and check out the masterclass, and I'm going to be talking about the 4 elements that you need to create a powerful financial plan that's easy to manage and helps you stay on track. So let me know if you have any questions. Tamika, what about a money market plan? To be quite honest, Tamika, don't like it. Reason being is because typically your money markets accounts really don't pay any interest either. So if this was monies that you were kind of setting aside for an emergency, for instance, then maybe it's okay. But even then, I think there are better ways or better places that you can put your money to get a bigger return, that you can access it if you need it in the case of an emergency. And so I think there are better places to put your money, and money markets and CDs. They're okay, but to be quite honest, the interest rates associated with them are so low that they really don't make a big difference in terms of investing or a return. Okay, if it's a place where, like I said, where you're just sitting, a few dollars, you're part of your emergency fund, then sure, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. So yeah. So I guess I don't see any other questions. Tamika, I will see you in the course this coming Saturday. I'll be sending you some more information in advance of that. And everyone else, I really, really encourage you guys to get into this master class, because I know, based on research, that almost 70% of everybody, 70% of all Americans, do not have a financial plan that they operate from. Do not have a financial plan. And it's okay. It's okay not to have a financial plan. If you don't know how to create one, or what needs to be in it, or how do you make it effective, how do you make it easy to manage, I'm going to be sharing with you all of those things in the masterclass. So please join us. Sign up. There's an early bird special. So yeah, look forward to it, guys. Hope to see you in the class here very soon. All right. Take care. God bless. See you next time.